Hello, this is Alex Kazmark for the FXEdge.com, and this is your free daily Forex video for August 24th, 2009. One reminder before I begin, the purpose of this free daily video is education and not an alert service. I'm not going to make any trade recommendations, but what I am going to do is conduct some technical and fundamental analysis and point out levels of support and resistance for the next 12 to 24 hours. Please keep in mind that trading with leverage is very risky, so please don't trade any real money until you have established a proven track record on a demo account. Trading conditions are always changing, so make sure to watch next day's video to stay updated. Happy Monday, everybody. We had quite a mixed session on Friday as the dollar lost ground mostly against the euro and the franc. Pound remained confined to previous day's ranges, closing a touch lower, and the dollar edged out a bit of gain against the yen. We saw the equity markets rally following better than expected existing home sales data. And with non-farm payrolls out not this week, but the following Friday, we are going to be looking for U.S. consumer confidence, a German business climate survey, U.S. new home sales data, Aussie private capital expenditure information, CBI realized sales data out of the UK, and preliminary GDP data out of the U.S. along with unemployment claims as the primary fundamental driving forces for this week. With no clear trend at hand, we're going to continue looking towards the equity markets for more information and perhaps some guidance. As of now, we are looking at the euro dollar on the daily, currently trading at 143.36. We've seen the dollar do several things here. We had a lower pivot low from this pivot. We had a lower pivot high, but now we're breaking those levels again and we're getting another pivot high. So we had some negative down momentum forces working, and now we have positive euro momentum forces working. Still clear resistance here is going to be with a 144.50 level for the euro. That's going to be the main event, I believe, this week, as we're currently at 143.33, about a penny and a half away from that 144.50 level. That truly could be tested over the next 24 hours, and perhaps a close above that will point to further euro strength. So our first level of resistance is going to be Friday's high of 143.75. That's going to be our first level of resistance, followed by that 144.50 level. Anything above that is open water. We haven't seen a break above that in quite some time. So once we break above the 144.50, just keep your ears open. We're going to be looking for 145 even, 145.50, 146 even as levels of resistance, just at because they're the round levels to psychologically important for the mind. First level of support is found at 142.90, followed by 142.50, 142, 141.60, and 140.84. The 140.45 area we drew from a couple of days ago. At that point, it was important. We're going to leave that there, but we're not going to consider it in this day's video. We're going to see these 5 points of resistance, 5 points of support for the euro as the next main key levels. Let's go and take a look at the pound dollar. Last thing I wanted to point out is we drew the downtrend for this dollar bull run we had towards the 140 area. However, we broke above that now. We've had these whipsaw sessions over the last, 2-3 weeks, perhaps 2 months. Going back to 2 months, just quite a lot of volatility. So I don't know if any of these trends are going to stick. Perhaps this is more we can draw something like that, and we'll see a further bounce to the downside. Very unclear at this point. So we will just keep our eyes out for further breaks above the 144.50 level. That's really the important level. Okay, moving on to the pound. Currently trading at 164.86. As I said earlier, we saw some volatility here, but really can't point out a specific level or direction as these candles continue to consolidate, and we continue to be in some sort of a range here. Currently trading at 164.86. Our first level of support is going to be found at 164.25, followed by 163.34, 162.74, and 162 even. Our first level of resistance is going to be found at 165.80, followed by 166.20, 167, and above 167 we're going to see 170 as the next main level of resistance for the pound. Let's go and take a look at the dollar yen, currently trading at 94.30. Dollar managed to etch out some gains as the equity markets rallied. We again saw downside momentum on Friday, but the close higher was positive, and with what we're seeing on other currency pairs, now that the Dow Jones has closed above the 9,500 level, I believe we might start to see some sign of an uptrend in the dollar-yen pair as well. But again, too early to say. We'll have to see if there's enough momentum left this week to really make that trend clear. Let's look at our last pair here, the dollar Swissy, currently trading at 105.70. Continue to close lower. We are currently playing a trade that we've been managing over the last few days in our members section. Quite a nice profit level at this point. It's tough to say what's going to happen. We set a new yearly low on the dollar Swissy at the 105.50 level. That's going to be our first area of support, followed by 104.77. We don't have much support here, so breaks below to the downside are really going to target these wicks at these levels. But to some extent, they're insignificant just because we saw such big pullbacks here. Long wicks, but decent pullbacks. So these levels are going to be to some extent inaccurate, and we're not going to really pay attention to these closing wicks. So anything below the 104.77 level, actually below the 105 level, is just open water. Be very careful once this goes below 105. Our first level of resistance is going to be found at 106.27, followed by 107, 107.40, 108, and 108.30. We also were watching these trend lines. We try to form some sort of a wedge pattern, but as we can see so far, this hasn't really played out to our advantage at all. The dollar continues to lose ground, and again, it's very difficult to say at this point whether or not there's momentum against the dollar building up on all the other majors. So we're going to be very careful here monitoring this. If in fact this was a wedge and now we're below that, we'll continue to see further dollar destruction here. Okay, well, if you'd like a more detailed analysis with our potential trade opportunities and our current trades, please join us in the members section. This has been Alex Kaczmarek for the FXEdge.com free daily Forex video for August 24, 2009. Don't forget to check out the calendar to keep an eye on economic data releases for this week. And until tomorrow, good luck trading.